In Pit Lane, brought to you by Online Invent, and with thanks to our Platinum Star Patreon supporters. Welcome to another edition of In Pit Lane, coming to you from Channel 31 and on the In Pit Lane YouTube channel. What a busy weekend of motorsport we've had, and it doesn't get any less this weekend, because coming up we had Sandown last weekend, we had Phillip Island, we had Winton. Coming up this weekend we're back down at Phillip Island for the Victorian State Circuit Racing Championships, and the National Formula Ford Championships will be held there as well. Joining us tonight on the program, the man currently leading the series, his name is Matt Hillier. He'll be joining us a little bit later on in the program. We've also got some great live jazz coming up for you a little bit later on in the program. Doc is alongside of us. He's going to help me read the news, which we're going to throw to now. This is the In Pit Lane News. Jamie Whincup has moved into outright second place in the list of Sandown 500 race winners behind Peter Brock after co-driving with Brock Feeney to victory in last weekend's return to the traditional Bathurst warm-up. A large crowd turned out for the return of the event, which hasn't been staged since 2019. The race was once again dominated by Camaros, with the fastest of the Fords, the Grove Racing Mustang of New Zealand driver Matt Payne and international star Kevin Estre, coming home in 6th place. The Fords were fast in qualifying, but once again struggled with the race pace, a situation not helped when two of their top cars were taken out early in a freak accident, after the car of Garth Tander lost a wheel over the top of the rise, which then went on to hit the rear of James Moffat's Cameron Waters car. Thankfully, the errant wheel didn't cause any injury to trackside workers or spectators, but the potential for a much more serious incident was certainly clear. The win keeps Feeney in contention for this year's championship, 204 points behind leader Brodie Kostecki, and the young Queensland driver was delighted with the victory and the support of his co-driver and team boss.
Obviously on the stint I was trying to save a bit of tyre, but I knew Brodie was really fast, so on those first few laps he had plenty of speed, but I knew if I could just hang on to it for a few more laps, hopefully he'd be able to burn his tyres up a little and make it a bit easier for me. But now that was pressure. I mean, that was hard work towards the end there, but I'm so stoked to come away with the win. This guy is so bloody good. I mean, watching him go at the start, and he made it pretty comfortable for me, but that safety car really tightened things up, and Brodie did a ripper job. Congrats to him and his team. And man, the pressure was on, but yeah, we turned this thing into a bit of a rocket, and I can't thank the team enough. And this guy he's been so important to me the last few years, so we finally won one.
Yeah, well, we weren't sure what the pace was going to be like, and I just settled in. I knew the car was good, so I knew we were in for a good shot, but it's a long 500Ks. It's a hard race to win, easy race to lose, but everyone did their job. They played their role, and couldn't be happier. Clearly both cars are very, very good. Big thank you to everyone at Red Bull Ampol Racing, and it's our 200th win, 250th win. So it's nearly sold us 50 short. Yeah, 250 wins for Triple Eight, so couldn't be happier.
Ford has described the current Supercars competition as an uneven contest after another Camaro domination. In a media release congratulating the Matt Payne and Kevin Estre team on being the highest place of the Ford runners, the company said that the Ford drivers were faced with an uneven contest from the opening laps on the high-speed Melbourne circuit. There were 5 Fords in the top 10 starting positions, but only 3 of them were still there at the finish, unfortunately, as the company struggles to be competitive in the new era of Gen 3. However, Ford Australia boss Andrew Birchick told Speed Cafe at Sandown that the company had no intention of leaving the series in the foreseeable future. That is great news.
Well, get out the FIA-designated flogging devices as the horse reincarnation process begins with the possible return of FIA Formula Ford to Australia. Let there be dancing in the streets. According to a story in Australian Auto Action, the Chinese company Top Speed will stage a 5-round Australian Formula 4 series at the Bend and Sydney Motorsport Park. Formula 4 was a disaster when last staged down under, but the series seems squarely aimed at the Asian market. The company already runs a similar series in the UAE, which has been very successful in attracting young Asian and European drivers. The return of Formula 4 will once again raise eyebrows amongst local single-seater categories, especially with the uncertain future of S5000 and MA's apparent continued disinterest in Formula Ford, despite continued good fields and some great racing.
It was a huge, very busy weekend at Motorsport in Victoria. Down at Phillip Island, a huge field of entrants put on some great racing in wonderful conditions at round 3 of the Victorian Road Racing Championships.
Fine weather, a combined Victorian and South Australian State Championship round, plus the chance for some valuable track time before the Australian Grand Prix meeting, brought out large fields on both 2 wheels and 3 to Phillip Island for a brilliant weekend of racing. With the National Championship round just a few weeks away at the Grand Prix, the Superbikes attracted a huge entry, including many of the top National Championship riders. The main race of the weekend was the Harvey Willshire Memorial Trophy, which saw a great 3-way battle for the win. Yamaha rider Mike Jones, who recovered from a crash in the morning's first race, led early from Troy Herfoss on the Honda and the BMW of Glen Allerton. Herfoss grabbed the lead on lap 7, but Allerton went back into the lead on lap 8, as Jones and Herfoss came together at the Miller hairpin. Herfoss and Jones threw everything at Allerton over the last few laps, but the BMW rider hung on in a tight finish from Herfoss and Jones to win the prestigious silverware.
Yeah, look, it was a battle from the start, and got to tip my hat to Mike. He set a blistering pace early, which is not easy to do after he had a crash in the race before, so good effort by Mike to do that. But Troy and I were sort of just hanging in there, holding on to Mike's pace, and then Mike started to make a few mistakes towards the end of the race, and that's when it turned into a dogfight. And yeah, like Jonesy passed me on the entry to turn 1 on the last lap, which really surprised me because I was in there pretty deep. And then I got him back into turn 4, and then coming over the crest of Lukey Heights down into MG, Troy had to go at me, but he ran wide and gave me enough room to get back underneath him and coming to the finish line. I knew I had it once I got onto the main straight and wound it on. Yeah, means a lot to me to win here. You know, when I was a kid, I watched, Wayne Gardner win the first Australian Grand Prix here, so this place means a lot to me, and to win, I've been wanting to win here for a long time, so it's pretty special.
We're going to take a break now on In Pit Lane on Channel 31. When we come back, we're going to be joined by our special guest, Formula Ford and Toyota 86 racer Matthew Hillier. Don't go away, we'll be right back.
Get the phone ringing for your business with website development and SEO services from Online Invent. Visit onlineinvent.com.au.
Yes, now if you want to get your business on the web, and if you want your business to be found on the web, if you want to attract more customers and grow your business, then you need a professional website and marketing strategy. Online Invent is a local web design and SEO marketing company that specialises in affordable and effective solutions for businesses of all sizes. Online Invent can help you create a website that looks great, is easy to use and easy to maintain, and will help you rank higher in search engine result pages. And we've personally seen exactly what Online Invent can do for us. They also offer a variety of online marketing services, including social media marketing, search engine optimization, and pay-per-click advertising, whatever that means. That's about $20 worth there. Now, they can help you develop a marketing strategy that'll reach your target audience and achieve your business goals. Online Invent's got a team of experienced and qualified professionals who are passionate about helping local business succeed. So talk to our friend Roy at Online Invent to discuss your needs and goals, and he'll help you develop a custom solution that fits your budget and your needs. And once again, we do thank Online Invent for their great support of In Pit Lane and RMITV. Well, right now we're going to have some music, some bonus music for those of you watching on YouTube and on the In Pit Lane Facebook page, the behind the scene live stream. We've got Jennifer Salisbury and Mark Morand, and they're going to be playing right across Melbourne. They're going to be this weekend at the Lido Jazz Room in Hawthorn, and also you've gone up too quickly, Phil. So I've lost that. If you go, thank you, Phil. They're also at the Grand Hotel in Healesville on the 29th of September. And the good news is we sort of worked this out. It's not locked in yet, but we think it's going to happen in November. They're going to be back here in the studio with their 9-piece band, 32 bars.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not kidding at all. That's funny. That's what the text said.
Well, there's no room for anyone else.
They're now. That's what everybody's saying. But right now they're going to entertain us with the Billie Holiday classic "Fine and Mellow." So, ladies and gentlemen, Jennifer Salisbury and Mark Morand.
My man don't love me, treats me oh so mean. My man, he don't love me, treats me oh so mean. Oh, he's the lowest man that I've ever seen. He wears those high draped pants, the stripes, they're all so mellow. Wears those high draped pants, the stripes, they're all so yellow. And when he starts his loving me, woo, he's so fine and mellow. Love will make you drink and gamble, make you stay out all night long. Love will make you drink and gamble, make you stay out all night long. Yes, love will make you do things that you know is wrong. But if you treat me right, baby, I'd stay home every day. If you'd treat me right, baby, I'd stay home every day. But if you keep treating me wrong now, baby, you're gonna drive me away.
Welcome back to In Pit Lane. Well, of course, it's been a busy weekend of motorsport. Last weekend at Sandown, the Sandown 500 was back, but also a big card of support races as well. One of those support races was the Toyota 86 series, a series that has become very, very popular and has huge fields. And coming up this weekend down at Phillip Island, the Victorian State Circuit Racing Championship, which will include the National Formula Ford Series. And a man who's in both of those series, in fact, he's leading the Formula Ford Series at the moment. Please welcome to the program from Sonic Racing Services. He is Matt Hillier. Matt, welcome to In Pit Lane.
Thank you very much for having me tonight.
Now, first of all, before we move on to the Formula Ford stuff and what's happening this weekend, let's just have a quick look back at Sandown. How did your weekend go?
It was a bit of a tough weekend. Didn't quite get the results that we wanted, but overall, definitely heaps of learning to take away from it. Obviously, the results weren't showing that we wanted, but heaps behind the scenes that we're able to take away and learn from to be able to come back next time stronger.
You always learn more from your mistakes than you actually do from the wins.
Yeah, exactly. There's always times that you think you're your lowest, but then you come back stronger for the next one.
Now, of course, your car is, and you have also got support from Walkinshaw Andretti United. Explain how that happened and explain what exactly that is. What is the deal with Walkinshaw Andretti?
So the Walkinshaw Andretti United Foundation Academy brings through young talent and nurturing the best of the younger people and teaching them their ways from the supercar ways, and just bringing them up through all the categories, and trying to give them a bit of backing that in this day and age is more about money that they're trying to bring back. Just through
Got to
pure
interrupt
talent.
here. It's not about drivers too, though. I was having a look at it a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Yes, promotion. There's engineers, like we had obviously mechanics. It
engineers.
could be promotional, could be media.
Yeah, media.
Everything across the board. They will give you an absolute Guernsey and give you a
They're trying to bring back through everyone, trying to bring them all up rather than just the drivers. They're bringing back through everyone that possibly in the industry, trying to get more people involved.
So over the course of a weekend, when you finish your own racing with the Toyota series, I mean, do you have much time in with the guys during the race, particularly with the long distance race? Do you have the opportunity to see what they're doing, to look over their shoulders, to see look at some of the tactics and all those sorts of things?
Yeah, definitely. So you're able to look through what they're doing, look over their shoulders, and just see what their ways of how they go about things, trying to learn what they do as well.
From your point of view, I mean, we'll just touch on it quickly. Of course, Walkinshaw Andretti United, now a Ford team as well, and we spoke about the problems with the Fords are having. From your point of view, I mean, what feedback are you getting from the guys in terms of where the improvement needs to be made to make the Fords more competitive? Because if you just look at it on qualifying times, everybody's very close, but then it gets to the race and it's not as if they're a mile behind.
Take the expletives out. We don't want to take the swear words out. But is it the tyre? Well, you're hearing a lot about tyre deg. Is that one of the things?
Yeah, obviously they're struggling a bit with overall pace in the race. Just not being able to use the life of the tyre to the maximum. But yeah.
Do you think, from what you're hearing, do you think that's an aerodynamic problem, or is it just a weight distribution problem? What's
a bit of everything. There's no one positive that they're able to just take away. It's all.
And I think that's the problem,
it's
isn't
all
it?
The
It's like it's all little. It's all little things, isn't it? Yeah.
We'll get a bit further into the tools part in a second, but just on that subject, I'm glad Brett's brought it up. The engines have been detuned down on the Mustangs, obviously. How much have they actually been turned down? Do you think that got any
not
sort of?
Too sure exactly.
But they are detuned, aren't they?
Only a little bit.
Yeah, so if that is an option as well, though, too, because they're trying, obviously, the parity issues they're having, they're trying in lots and lots of different ways. Now, getting onto the tools, you're also an apprentice down there, so as well as racing two cars at the moment, you get your hands on the stuff. Do you get to work on any time on your own cars, or is it...
not on my own car, but Monday to Friday, they're at WAU, working from 8 till 5, so yeah, that's a great opportunity to be learning all the in-behind, all the cars as well, and understand all the backing behind of it.
So what will you be doing the next 2 or 3 weeks to get ready up for Bathurst? Because obviously you've got a window, you've got different time frames, you've obviously got to hit different targets. What are you guys all going to be doing as a team effort?
So it's a pretty close turnaround. Truck has to be packed by end of next week, so it'll all be pretty tight, but between now getting it all ready, stripped back down, servicing all the parts, and getting them back into the car ready to go to Bathurst for the 1000.
And in between that, of course, your main focus for this weekend, of course, is back in the Formula Ford again, doing very well in the Formula Ford. Once again, really good fields for this weekend. At the moment, how do you feel Formula Ford is going? Because as we said in the news, CAMS or Motorsport Australia, perhaps not as supportive as they used to be, but it still seems to be the place to go if you want to go eventually into supercars.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, I think it's a really great category. They're a quite hard car to drive. They're pretty loose, they're light, and they've got pretty much no grip. So in terms of trying to get all your...
Which, according to Kevin Estra, is basically what the supercars are, except with about 700 horsepower.
Basically, a lot of people seem to say the same thing. Obviously, there's been heaps of talent going through Formula Ford, so it just shows what the category is and how much talent there is coming through.
Who's your main competition at the moment? Who's your main threat in terms of the series for the rest of the year?
So pretty much all year, Zach Lobko's been one of my biggest competition. He's kind of second in the championship, and both my teammates are really fast, so they're always pushing me, trying to make better of myself. 67
points up, I think you're at the moment. You are up in the championship.
Yeah, definitely.
How do you win 3 out of the 5 rounds so far overall? Because that's what I think I had a quick look at statistics earlier. I like looking at the numbers sometimes. What do you think is the edge that you got, without giving away too much of the trade secrets? What do you think is the most important thing on how you get in those wins?
Oh, to me, it's just about taking each race by race. It's not about looking in the future. It's about looking in the time, what you need to do to be able to maximise each race. If you get a bad race result in race 1, just focus on getting the best out of race 2 and race 3, and then take that weekend away and go to the next one and figure out what you can do better for the next one.
Great attitude.
And just take them each one by one.
Now, of course, we're running out of time at Phillip Island this weekend. What's the schedule for this weekend? You've got, 3 races, is it?
Yeah, so 2 practices on Friday, a couple. Yeah, not too sure how many practices, but there's a quali on Saturday and a race on Saturday with 2 races on Sunday.
Yeah. And what about the rest of the year? What's the calendar? Where do you go to after Phillip Island, and how many races?
So there'll be one more round of the Formula Ford Series at Tailem Bend, and then there's one more round of the Toyota Gazoo Racing Series, which will be at Bathurst. So that'll be pretty cool to get up there.
I was going to say, I've looked at going the results again. You've gone quite well up in the northern states as well too. Is it the warm weather that gets all that sort of stuff? Formula Ford, all the Toyota Gazoo. The last couple of years, you seem to be seem to have those tracks done. You got a sim racer at home that you may be giving a bit of practice to, are you?
No, I don't have a sim at home actually. Never been into the sims at home really. But,
oh, I'm so glad to hear that from a racing driver for a change.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, good luck for the weekend, both in Formula Ford and for the rest of the year with the Toyotas as well, and also enjoy your time over at Bathurst with Walkinshaw and Andretti United. But for right now, Matthew Hillier, thanks for joining us in Pit Lane.
Thank you very much for having me tonight. It's been a great opportunity.
Okay, and we're going to take a break now. When we come back, we'll have more international news, and also we'll have some live music, some jazz coming to you right after this break. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Okay, well, thank you for that. So,
awesome,
yeah,
thank you.
Well done. Nice day.
While Mark and Jennifer get into position, what do you think with the? We mentioned the Formula 4. Thing. I mean, what was your reaction, and what was the reaction from everybody that you knew when you saw that headline pop up today?
Oh, well, I hadn't really been involved with it too much, but everyone you speak to sort of just says, "Well, time will tell," and then the people.
Remember, you have stuff to do.
Yes, I do. I've got multiple things to do.
Yes, yeah, the experience and stuff. Obviously, that's just the category of how Formula Ford and how good of it will just shine through and show that it is there to stay and it's not there to be taken over.
It's funny. It's almost it's very funny that you've got sort of almost 2 different pathways, because a lot of people I've spoken to in sort of supercars say Formula Ford is the absolute ideal category to take you into supercars. But if you talk to people overseas, and like I've mentioned in the past, talking to Trevor Carlin many years ago, and he said, Formula Ford is the worst place possible if you want a career in open wheelers overseas now. So it's like if your future is here in Australia, if that's what you want to do and you want to get into supercars, it seems that Formula Ford is absolutely perfect and affordable. Whereas if you're in Formula, I mean, are you looking at overseas at all, or is your focus on supercars?
Do you like, yeah?
Not really. I've just sort of been taking it time by time, but not as such locked into any certain stage, just looking at options.
So what would you like to be doing next year?
Still trying to figure that out, see what opportunities arise.
I mean, budgets are always constrained, stuff like that. But
yeah, definitely.
If you had just a golden ticket, what would you do? A combination of the two again, or just do Gazoo and maybe look at branching out to something else like a Trans Am, or maybe even a Super 2 or something like that?
Still not too sure. Still just figuring it out.
Yeah, cool.
Well, good luck with it. They're doing wonderfully well, particularly in Formula Ford at the moment, and I'm sure that'll be a great race at Phillip Island. Stay with us for a second, because we're going to just jump into. Yeah, we're just going to jump into the final segment now.
You've got 8 minutes and 17 seconds of talking time.
Lovely, thank you. There, well, we've got the news, so we'll take it from there. So I'll come straight in when we come back, Pete. I'll come straight in with the script.
Yes, no worries. The Patreon.
The Patreon. I keep forgetting about bloody Patreon. Look, for those of you watching live at the moment, and those of you watching on YouTube, In Pit Lane, as you know, is an all-volunteer production of RMITV Student Television. And, of course, we have the support of our friends at Online Invent, and that's very important. Unfortunately, the situation is at the moment we are still well short of the money that we need to... When I say well short, we're about $50 a week short of what we really need to do to keep
We're a pineapple short of the... We're
a pineapple short. And people say, well, it's only $50 a week. $50 a week is $200 a month. It's $600 a series. But it certainly would help if you would support us through Patreon. In fact, I think I've actually got something. Lars, if there's something on the EVS right now that says something about Patreon, could you play it for us, please? Rev up your support for young local motorsport talent and the future of TV. Join us in the fast lane with In Pit Lane, Australia's only prime-time free-to-air motorsport news and magazine show. Help us drive dreams. Donate via Patreon today. Visit patreon.com/In Pit Lane now and become part of the pit crew. In Pit Lane and Channel 31. Your community, your TV. Yeah, so please support us on Patreon if you can. We've got starting from $4 all the way up to the people that are our Platinum Star members, $25 a month, which really helps us out. And if you're $25 a month, you get put into our opening credits, and you can have your logo up on the opening credits. And of course, everybody gets our undying love and appreciation.
And don't stop there. Join us on Full Course Yellow also as well.
Yeah, Full Course Yellow every Wednesday night at 8:30. And boy, I tell you what, we got a lot to talk about this week, have we ever?
Lucille Ball's on this week, isn't she?
Oh, I think everybody's on, Uncle Tom Cobley and all. Okay, let's go to that third segment, Pete. Finally, The Rock has come back to SmackDown.
You okay?
Oh, and someone else apart from Max Verstappen won a Grand Prix. After a record-setting 10 consecutive victories, Carlos Sainz and Ferrari have brought the Red Bull winning streak to an end at last at the Singapore Grand Prix. It was a strange race for the runaway championship leaders, with Verstappen and Perez both well off the leading pace. Sainz's win from pole, the second of his career, delighted the huge crowd and, of course, Ferrari fans around the world. He won from McLaren's Lando Norris and Mercedes' Lewis Hamilton. Meanwhile, in other overseas news, an unpopular win in NASCAR. The rain played havoc in the NHRA, and there was plenty of post-race drama in the Super GTs from Japan. And that's where we'll start off this week's In Pit Lane International Wrap. Honda, as the famous NSX winds down its storied racing history in Japan. The team of Tomoki Najiri and Toshiki Yoyu won last Sunday's Super GT round at the Sugo circuit. The pair inherited the win after the car of fellow Honda team, Real Racing, was disqualified following post-race inspection for an excessively worn skid block. The penalty meant the Arta Honda team won the race by only half a second over the Nissan duo of Ronnie Quintarelli and Sugo Matsuda, with the Denko Toyota Supra in third place. In GT300, it was a thrilling finish as the leading Satayama Toyo Pets Toyota Supra ran out of fuel in the run to the finish line. However, the number 18 Up Garage Honda team celebrations were short-lived, as their car was also disqualified post-race, handing the win to the Toyota Supra of Hiroki Yoshida and Kota Kawai. Denny Hamlin won the Bristol night race on Sunday, advancing to the round of 12 in the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. Hamlin started from pole position and led for most of the race, holding off challenges from Christopher Bell, Ty Gibbs and Kyle Larson. Larson finished second, with Bell in third. Martin Truex Jr. and Bubba Wallace also advanced to the round of 12, but for defending champion Joey Logano, his finals push is over after his car suffered a mechanical failure following a collision with Corey LaJoie. Hamlin's victory was far from popular with the crowd, however, who greeted his win with a chorus of booing and abuse. Hamlin's response, straight out of the WWE Heel 101 promo textbook.
I beat your favorite driver. And who would that be? All of them.
Doug Coletta picked up his milestone 50th career win on Monday at Maple Grove Raceway, earning his first victory in nearly 3 years after driving past Steve Torrens in the Top Fuel final of the Pep Boy NHRA Nationals, the first race in the countdown to the championship playoffs. In his 100th career funny car final, Robert Hight made it one to remember, picking up his 64th victory with a win over Chad Green in the championship round. Pro Stock's Matt Hartford returned after having his appendix removed only last week to end up with the points lead after beating Kyle Koteski in the final round. Defending NHRA Pro Stock motorcycle champion Matt Smith defeated teammate Chip Ellis in the final round. And NASCAR star Tony Stewart has taken the lead in the Top Alcohol Championships after winning the final over Madison Payne. Now, how would you like to channel your inner Carl Cox? There's somewhere inside you there's a DJ just wanting to escape. Well, thanks to our friend Elliot Barber, who was with us a couple of weeks ago, and his sponsors at Pioneer DJ, we have a great prize to give away. It is a Pioneer DJ, it's a DDJ 200. It's a fabulous device that links in with your phone and your computer, your iPad, and allows you to mix and do all of those sorts of wonderful things. Beat match all the sorts of things you do on a DJ turntable. These things are worth a bit too, so thank you to Elliot for making that possible. Now, if you would like to enter the competition, all you have to do is you just need to go to our Facebook page and you'll see the competition there and answer the question, what category does Elliot Barber's Pioneer DJ Camaro run in? What category does the Trans Am Camaro run in? Very, very difficult question, and in a couple of weeks' time, just before Bathurst, we will draw that prize. And once again, thank you to Elliot and Pioneer DJ for making that possible. We appreciate it. Now, coming up on the speaking of music, we got some great music to take you out right now. Tonight, we got jazz. Jennifer Salisbury and Mark Morand are going to join us in just a moment. They're going to be playing this weekend at the Lido Jazz Room on the 23rd of September. That's in Hawthorne. They're going to be at the Grand Hotel Hillsville on the 29th. And later on in the year, you heard it here first, they're going to be back here with their 9-piece band, 32 Bars. But right now, they're going to take us out with You Fell in Love with Me. Ladies and gentlemen, Jennifer Salisbury and Mark Morand.
I remember thinking that I never could be happy, but I'm happy to discover just how wrong I could be. I've had my share of lies, those excuses, those alibis. I've kissed some frogs along the way. No time to compromise, 'cause I had a big surprise that caught me on the hop today. The Greek philosophers held that love is divine. If Aphrodite were here, she'd tell you likewise. Here